M.U.S.E, you're watching AI Evolved, and in today's video we're going to be going through a few brands and I'm going to be explaining to you the different types of lighting that are best suited for these brands based on specific commercial use cases as well. Then I'm lastly going to be showing you my tool that I've been working on, so MUSE Planner tool. So oftentimes, you know, when we're trying to create prompts, we have to know so much about like photographic theory or even cinematic theory. You know, when I was creating my photographic prompting framework, or likewise the cinematic one, I had to learn loads of photographic and cinematic knowledge. So that's really annoying. And I don't know about you, but a lot of us would just rather prefer that we of course had a prompt that we can just have through a few like simple steps that we could follow beforehand and just copy and paste that into our image tool of choice. So yeah, that's something I want to be showing you at the end, but let's get into it with some brands that I've got for you today, and specifically with some lighting types that we're going to follow. So first I'm going to be like just explaining to you the morphology basics. Now I know that's a big word, but that's part of my framework of MUSE. And think of morphology as just being the overall structure of how the facial features are arranged. Okay, so the like gap between the eyes, the nose in terms of its width, etc., the lips in terms of their like depth and their fullness, and the overall face shape as well. That's the biggest thing. So we're just going to be focused on the face shape and what specific lighting types are best suited to that as well. In front of me, I've got a few images that I've created in likeness to some brands that we're going to be covering today. But yeah, let's just see. I'm going to try and keep this stream about 15 to 20 minutes. I know I have a very terrible habit of running overtime, but trying to promise only a 15 to 20 minute running time. But let's see how good I am at upholding that this time around. So soft and round faces, then that's typically where there is not that much definition on the face. So we can see on this particular example here from the row, okay, they're like a high-end like e-commerce luxury brand, but we can see on this particular subject that the face is more oblong. Okay, it's an oblong shape, so it's kind of like long like this, long but slightly rounded, and the facial features are not that exaggerated. Okay, they're not like an oval shaped face where it'd be like a bit more indented at the bottom, or yeah, a little bit more narrow at the bottom. So for that particular face, the best kind of lighting that works is more of a diffuse light. Diffuse basically means evenly spread across the face, so it's not like harsh directional light, which is what's shown here. If I go down here, you'll see, oh, and these images, by the way, they were created with this MUSE Planner tool that I'll show you at the end. There's like harsh directional light here, okay, so we can clearly see that there's shadow as well on the left hand side of the person, and it leaves also like a shade as well on like the left side of her face, right? That's harsh directional lighting, so it's not that. But here, yeah, we can see it's more evenly spread. So for those soft round faces, you're typically looking at, I've got some notes in front of me as well just so I don't go off. So you're typically looking at more diffused natural daylight or diffused light in terms of like studio setting there. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm not sure if you can see this, but you can see that there's one main light source that's in front of her, but then there's also a light source on top of her as well. Now, the reason I say that it's on top of her as well is we can see that there's some shadow underneath her collar there. And there's also some shadow underneath her shoes there, right? It's a round circular shadow underneath her shoes there. So that would only be created if there was a predominant light on top of her and then a little bit of a fill light in front of her. So that's why her face is evenly lit up, but then we can also see that there's some shadow underneath her collar, etc. there. So going back to my free pick examples then, I didn't keep in mind the light on top. I just went like directional / fill from the side. So that's why we've got both parts of this woman's face or man's face. I can't tell which one it is, no disrespect, but yeah, we can't tell. That there's some light on the right of his or her face and then some on the left as well. So we don't know exactly where that particular light source is from, but it still is a good like vibe, right? It still kind of matches the vibe of what we've got with the row here. If I go back, you will see more examples there. So like here, it's more evenly lit as well. Okay, so they got that diffused vibe going on. And we can see that the shadow, you can usually tell the shadows give it away where all of the light sources are coming from. So you can tell that here, there's the shadow, but it's very faint and it's under. So that means the light source is above there. But it's also on front because it's all evenly lit up. So that's that. And that's for like softer, rounder faces. Now, if we go here, these women, they've got more oval shaped faces and they're more distinctive, right? They're more like a sharp angled. And there's a lot of shadow play going on here. So you've got like a high key studio light, it's called, where it's just like pointed from one direction downwards. That's a high key studio light. And what that creates is shadows around them. And these are great for grabbing your attention, okay, and redirecting you to a product category page. So when you click here, you'd go to this particular category page because the commercial objective here is to just increase CTR, which is click-through rate, to try and get you to just see the product and then click it, right? That's the commercial objective there. Okay, so that's the angular faces. You'd have that more high key studio light, and for more oval, even heart-shaped faces, but especially like the oval slash like longer shaped faces, oblong shaped faces, you'd have more diffused light, so naturally spread across the face. Okay, and those are two examples there. So we've got Net-a-Porter and the row. Now, these are some examples that I tried to create in likeness to that. So when I was focusing on more of the oval shaped faces, where there's more of a softer kind of shape to the face, I was going for more of a natural light by the window, especially because that's really good at accentuating that. And then when you get more angled shaped faces, you want more lighting just from one side, because then it creates like a shadow and a lot of rich contrast there. So that's an example there. Now I want to show you quickly, I know that's my planning tool now. So if I go to here, I've been working on this like a little bit, but basically when you get taken to this planning tool, you get 3 different objectives. So you get brand awareness, product listing page, or product detail page. So typically when you're running an ad campaign for an e-commerce client, you would have ads that are very like colorful and arresting, meaning that they stop you in your tracks, because the whole point is to try to stand out in the sea of noise that is Facebook ads and the Meta platform. So brand awareness ads are just very colorful, they're very gripping, and they're similar in scope to these kinds of product listing pages in that they're trying to play with harsh directional lighting and contrast to just stop you in your tracks. So that's that. Product listing pages and brand awareness are similar in terms of their commercial objectives. And then product detail page is more of the garment up close as well as the product as well that can shown. So it could be a mix of both. So we're going to go with, let's say, brand awareness here. I'm going to click next. Then we get to play with the specific accents that we have for the specific colors for that brand. So here, my default accent or default color scheme for AIE right now is this champagne color, white and black. So we're going to go with that. And yeah, these colors, like I try to create something where I can, of course, close them out, but that doesn't work right now. So I need to play with that later on. But anyways, and I've gone with elegant, bold and sophisticated. Okay, that's what I've gone with in terms of additional adjectives there. And now we can choose from like classic elegance, so that's timeless luxury with soft silhouettes, modern minimal, clean lines and unstated designs, or dramatic glamour, bold editorial looks with striking shapes. So I'm going to go with modern minimal. And then we want to have mystery and curiosity, because curiosity, especially when we're talking about brand awareness and product listing page, is super important. We want to drive curiosity. We want to get the click. Okay, that's the main objective there. And then like let's do light complexion. And then this intensity slider here, the more you go up, the more dramatic the adjective should be, the more strong the adjective should be. And then the more you go down, so if I go here, the less like strong the adjective should be. So somewhere in the middle, think of this as like the CFG scale. So I don't know if you guys have used like a Foul.ai or any other AI tools. You get basically the CFG scale, which determines how close do you want it to be in likeness to the prompt, or how much inference that you want. So how much do you want it to go off and have its own interpretation of it? So think of it as being that, but it's a way that is used to control the, I guess, intensity of your prompt. So now we have our prompt. Okay, so this is the prompt. So we can just copy the prompt here and paste it in. And this is a work in progress, so it's not going to be absolutely perfect. But I just realized that, you know, when you're creating loads of creatives for either clients, etc., thinking about the prompt is just an absolute nightmare. But here, at least it's a bit better. So, like, that's a good image, for instance, for like an e-com shoot. And these are good because they've got more like shadows. So there's a lot of shadow play going on here. And if we read out the prompt now, be able to see. So high-end editorial portrait, a photo shoot portrait of a model in her early 20s with a heart-shaped face. So she's got a heart-shaped face, we can see. Soft cheeks and a soft tapered jawline. Yep, it's that. She has fair skin, light blue eyes, and ash blonde hair styled in a straight bob. She has an athletic frame. She wears clean, minimal streetwear with subtle edge, reflecting champagne white and black colours throughout. That's what we had in our particular tool. And then captured as a medium shot, capturing the model from the waist up with soft natural daylight from the side, casting gentle shadows across her face and body to create a mysterious and curious mood. Okay, I think it's done a pretty good job there. She's standing cool and confident, looking slightly away for intrigue. This bold image is designed for advertising and social media, capturing attention and mysterious and curious. Okay, so it didn't quite make sense there when it said and mysterious and curious, but it's done the job. It definitely has mystery to it. I like that one a lot. That's really cool. It has done it with Flux though, so I want to try it now with Mystic and see if it does the same thing. Because the thing is, when you have a tool like this, when you have a prompting tool like this, you can use it for multiple image tools and it should still do the job there. So, see what happens. This is much better in terms of the contrast of the light. It's done a much better job, right? It's played with the lighting more, and it's way higher fidelity as well. She's slightly looking away to add that intrigue, and it's adhered to it much better. That's why I prefer the Mystic flexible tools there. And then this is what I did earlier as well. So all of what you're seeing here was done with this particular prompt tool, and I will be going into it a little bit more in depth later on, but it's still very much a work in progress right now. Yeah, so you can even get different ethnicities, different hairstyles, and it all does its job there. It's quite similar right now, so I need to change it, but it is good, even in like natural environments like we can see here. So yeah, that's a little bit about today. It's been a super short stream today. I wanted to keep it that way intentionally. But yeah, hopefully it's been short and snappy for you guys. And I wanted to show you actually the last example here. So this is Massimo Dutti. So we can see that there's a mix of both a high key studio light, but then also a slight fill light, because the left side of her face is a little bit less lit up than her right. Her right is a bit more exaggerated there. So we can see that that's the case. I'll be going more into specific lighting types later on. I just wanted to show you a few brand examples in this particular stream and how they're using lighting differently. I'll have to, of course, create more prompts to have this reflected exactly as it is. But I just wanted to open your eyes on this stream of the way that different brands are using lighting as part of their photo shoots. Yeah, that's been it. You've been watching, of course, AI Evolved, and thank you for watching. I've been Vey. Till next time. Peace.